Well, we're always doing lots of Jeep things, so I figured I'd share the latest Jeep thing with you. We just got rid of that white 13,000 mile late model XJ that's currently listed on Bring a Trailer. Go check it out. And then we brought this one in. This is an 86. This one's got 33,000 original miles on it. I lied, 36,000. Want to see? 36,506, baby. Look at this thing. It smells like new leather. I'm not even joking you. Oh, let's try to get the back door open here. Felt it. There it is. Click. Like new. Oh, vinyl floor. Tan. Covers. Headliner minty. Holy crap. All right, off the trailer, here we go. Oh yeah, we got an Airstream here too. Did you guys like my diversity post yesterday? Automotive diversity rules. Holy crap, what a nice find. If you guys want an early model, this one will go to Bring a Trailer when it's done too. She's pretty spiffy, but we're going to do some exterior work and make her look brand new again. There's some little nicks here, and there's a couple of flash rust spots and a couple other things on it. But there's the 36,000 mile Cherokee, guys. Once in a lifetime. I'm pretty old now. Appreciate you bringing it in, brother. Wishing you well on the white one, wishing you well on this one. Take care, buddy. Morning, everybody. We brought the 87 36,000 mile Cherokee in. I had it outside yesterday and was able to do some rust prep work on it and get the rear bumper taken off and kind of start the process here a little bit. So just to show you what we got going on, and this is why it's so important to make sure you do rust repair the correct way. There's a big misconception out there that if you clean the panel off and get the rust out of it, kind of like what we got here, and then you can just coat over it and you got it good to go. The reality is that rust is actually a chemical reaction. When it's exposed to oxygen and moisture, it starts a chemical reaction, and even if you knock it down like this, you're never going to kill the chemical reaction unless you treat it with acid, and that's what we're going to do in aerosol form. I've been using this stuff for years for light flash rust and light pitting. It puts a primer coating on there, converts all this rust, whatever's left, to a primer coating. Then it'll lock up. I'll scuff it, and then we'll 2K primer over it, and then do our body work and whatever we need to do. Base clear detail. But this stuff works pretty good, and so I've got everything kind of cleaned out where I need to down. I got all the scales cleaned out of it, and I'm down to the pits and the rust now, and I've done that. On all this, so both of these doors, the bottom of this front fender, I went ahead yesterday and got all the glue that was on here. It was actually super glue, so it was really hard, and then there was like butyl putty underneath the super glue, so they had tried a bunch of stuff to get that to stick. So I took razor blade, old school trick, and it sounds scary, but I razor bladed all that super glue off of there to get the finish back down to the original finish. I removed the emblem, as you can see, and got it sanded flat. Got all my imperfections out up here. So now this is looking pretty happy. I just need to scuff and prep the rest of this fender and get it ready for paint and rust treat all this stuff. So that's been taken care of. This door's been cut open and it's ready to go. And the bottom of this front fender. And this rear lower quarter panel. So we're gonna kind of shoot this with some acid, and by the time I get around this and come back, you guys will kind of see how this acid affects it. And even where I kind of just pay attention to my spots, even where it doesn't look like there's any rust, it's because I've cleaned it out already. But the acid is going to reconvert that chemical reaction. So you'll see this stuff start to do its job pretty quick. Found another one right there. I'm gonna have to sand that more here in a little bit and then retreat this. That's okay, that's part of the process. This door opened up so I don't spray any of this on the rocker panel. This stuff is supposed to set up for 24 hours, so we'll let it sit for most of the day today. Yeah, I got a little bit more sanding to do under in that little corner right there. Get that out. But all this stuff will be okay. Let's just back up. This door. Okay. We'll get this one right here. All right, just in that short amount of time, you can already see this metal starting to change color and it's starting to eat into this rust real good. pitting. Here, let me switch hands for you. You like the pitting? There's one there. There's one there. I'll let this acid start doing its job. Yeah. It's eating down into that. That's most converted already. It's just got to get down into the pits. So you got to kind of let it sit wet with enough time to do its stuff. Yeah, that's going to have to get sanded a little more. Oh no, I guess that is bare metal. We'll see. So all that stuff sets up, we'll go ahead and finish prepping this fender and see what other kind of stuff that we got to take off in preparation of the paint work, and kind of start to wipe things down and maybe start prepping on some of these brush touch spots. Anyway, that's where we're at so far. I'll get some pictures for you after we get primer on her, and she'll be pretty close to booth time. Appreciate you guys. Take care. See you on the next one. Okay. So I think I got 2 more questions and then we're good. Just trying to keep you on Front Street. So we're looking at the front driver's side door. They found a new problem child. There is a rust bit right there under this paint. And it's right here in the top corner of the door. And I know that if I open this up, I'm going to end up into here, which means painting this whole door, but not that fender, not that door, which would also lead me to saying, okay, do we want to now take care of that? I don't have to open it up, but we're that close, and I know it's rust. You tell me. Whatever you want me to do, bro. Last question, I think, is the bottoms of these rocker panels. They're not rusty, but their paint's chipped off of them. And just from me putting masking tape on it and then taking the masking tape off, some more of the red come off of there. So it's letting go all up under here. Both of these front fenders have to be painted all the way down and underneath. I don't have to paint the rocker panel as of yet because it's just on the door. Do you want me to address this in one way or another? Black rust chip or black rock chip coating, just sand it and body color it with the rest of the stuff, or leave it because it's not rusty and let the future owner decide what route. Yeah. I got all the paint cleaned out of all these. I am concerned that this one in the quarter panel is rusty. I can touch it up and make it look like I did on that white one that I did for you guys. Or I can cut it open and we can do quarter panel. It's just kind of the nature of the beast when you're dealing with rust. I'll do what I can for you. But you let me know where you want to go. I'm doing everything I can, but it's could be a Lego car by the time we're done. Oh, anyway, let me know, bro. I'll talk to you soon. And here we are in the paint shop. New compressor, new wiring box, ready to rock. So, I think last time we talked I had showed you that we acid treated all this rust that was down here and back here and on this one and both these doors, the bottom of this fender, and then there were some glue spots up here that we had to feather edge. So that stuff's all done. I've 2K urethane primed it. I prepped that acid spot, sanded it down, cleaned it with wax grease remover, used the urethane 2K on top of it. And then we came back in today with our 320 grit sandpaper and prepped up the gas tank that's getting sprayed with this and all these spots that are getting primed. So this is going to be a little bit tough. So my plan and my goal is to bring the new red base coat up to the bottom edge of this, and then use this existing about 1-inch pad to try to just barely break the color edge over the top of it, and then we're going to clear hard up into the corner, and then I'll be able to sand this hard edge down and then polish it with the rig. That's the plan. That's the best plan to spot these in. I may have to do 3 or 4 spray outs on spray cards before I get the color right, because I'm doing a hard match. I'm not doing any blended edges up onto the door, so this color's got to be spot on, otherwise it's not going to look right. So I'm going to work on that today. I'm actually done sanding and prepping everything. It just needs to be unmasked in certain areas and remasked so the color gets tight to stuff, and then everything needs to be blown out, cleaned up. Shop needs to be blown out, cleaned up one more time, and we'll be ready for some polypropylene primer, and then base coat, 2-3 coats of base coat, 2-3 coats clear coat. I'm going to use a spot panel clear coat. It's got a little bit less of a sheen to it. It should match the Jeep pretty good. We'll get it all unmasked, and then she should be ready to go back over to the main shop and get put back together, detailed, and have the mechanical done. So that's where we are with the red Jeep. I'm going over to Dallas to get the paint codes and go to the Napa and mix up my paint and come back here and start squirting some stuff. So anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Have a good week. Take care. All right, we are ready for paint. So this is the second layer of masking. There's the pile from the first. So I know it seems like a giant waste, but this is the way to do it right and keep the dust off of it. So got this propped all the way around onto the bottom lip, and then I've propped the fender flares out where I've removed the hardware to try to get the paint to blow back behind as much as I can without removing the fender flare from the vehicle and causing more issues. These are propped around the edge and up to the body lip. I should be able to get paint on the bottom edge of the doors. Same thing in the front fenders. I got them propped out a little bit so I can get some paint back there. This came out real nice. And this color is officially called Colorado Red, is what this one is. So I've got my quarter base coat over here. And we're gonna mix up some base coat, shoot some adhesion promoter. I'll be ready to go. Okay, hopefully you can hear me through my mask. So that's a medium wet coat and a full wet coat, so that's 2 passes. Now it looks really good so far, but I got some dark spots in the factory E coating that had showed through that I'm trying to make sure get covered all the way. I'm looking really good. Yeah, I'm looking really good all the way around now. Yeah, most of the dark stuff got covered this last pass, so I'll put one more dust pass on it. Looks like I need some more coverage underneath here. Now these doors look really good now. I'll turn the booth lights on, get everything checked. This looks pretty good now too. Oh, and what do we have here? It's the red Jeep back in Dallas. So we got all the base coat, clear coat done. Brought it back over and start working on mechanical and detail. So I'm gonna detail this thing up and give it a final inspection. We've got valve cover gasket and wheel cylinders here on the table. Keith's ready to go. She's in the lift bay. And then we'll take care of the little fuel leak that we found in the back and start putting her back together. Hope you guys are having a good week. We got the shop cleaned out and we're back over here for a few days. So anyway, talk at you soon. Take care. Okay, Rob. I'm just gonna film this for you as a personal video. Normally I would have you come down to kind of take a look at what I got going on, but there's a distance issue and I know we're both working, so I'll try to do this. So it came back over today from the paint shop, and you might already notice at this angle because I can kind of see it in the phone. Our color didn't come out right. So this is all repainted and looks good, but the side tone of the color, it just isn't matching right. It's quite a bit more orange than what the factory is. I mean, like right here, it looks pretty good. But then there you go, you're starting to get that side tone now. And on the doors, on the lower sections of it where I did the work, it's almost passable. You know, like there, I don't know if it's picking it up. Where my big concern was here to here. And then on the hood, because we had done the fender right here, yeah, you can definitely see it there. So this is the worst spot that it shows. It actually is almost acceptable right there. So the moral of the story is that I got to repaint at least all of the pieces that I've painted already. I'm going to tweak this. I did a spray out of it. Everything looked good. This is the way it is when you do what's called butt matching, when you put them next to each other without blending onto the adjacent panel. Now, I seen this at the paint shop, and I was hoping and wanting to bring it over here and get some detail on the rest of the OEM stuff, hoping that it would bring some of the washed color back out of it. It didn't. And not only did it not bring any of the color back, which means that this is what the factory color was, and this is just too orange. But also, this side of the hood's been detailed, and you're starting to see what I'm seeing. This hood's gone, man. There's nothing I can do to save this hood. I've sanded it with 3000 grit. I've compounded it and then cleaner waxed it, and this is the clear coat that's coming off of it. And actually I found out via this spot right here that this has been re-clear coated once before. I don't think they base coated it. I think they just cleared it at some point in its life to try to save the hood, but there's just no way to get this stuff out of here. And like down in here, that white it's gone. There's no color there. There's just no color back down in there. And you know, this is kind of what we were looking at when we were doing the exterior inspection. And so it just looks like it needs a wash. You know, it doesn't really, I would have never guessed that it would have been that bad on it until I put the polisher on it. So that, I don't think that's going to be good for your auction. This isn't going to be good for the auction. And then as I'm doing the wash and getting all the dirt off of it so that I can start to get the contaminant out of the paint, which is the first step of it, that really lets you get up close and personal with the rest of the paint that's on it. Sorry it's up on the lift, or I'd kind of show you, but there's more chips in like the A-pillars, and I found a couple along the roof. The roof has got a big pancake wow in it. Yeah, you can see, look at that color. Like, it looks okay, but then it doesn't. But anyway, there's more rock chips in it. I showed you the one in the door, which this is just, I mean, bottom line, I just don't like to put my name on stuff like this. I mean, we fixed everything down into here, but we got the same problem right here, which means that we got problems in the door, which means we're just not fixing this right. And I'm trying to save you labor by doing just these spots and not blending up onto the doors and, basically painting the whole rig, but this is the outcome of what we got. So really the way to do this right is to paint the whole thing at this point. I know it's not really in the cards for this one. It's not really in the cards for what I got going on. It's up on the lift. We're doing the mechanical today. So Keith's doing the valve cover gasket.
I've got the wheel cylinders here. We're going to do those. Those need to be done anyway. But then based off of what I'm telling you out here, I kind of want to know what you want to do as far as the rest of what we found is concerned. So this wheel cylinder back here definitely has been leaking, and it's been leaking so bad that the shoes are contaminated. Normally, when you have a leaky wheel cylinder and the fluid gets onto the shoes, you automatically replace the shoes because you can't get this out. You can't get the oil out of the shoe and it won't stop the way it's supposed to. From everything we can tell, this is the factory shoes that are in here. So we can clean them up if you want us to and try to put the factory shoes back in. The other point that Keith wanted me to make to you is that these drums, they really need to be turned. They don't have many miles on them, so I'm sure they can turn them, but you can kind of see they're pitted and gouged. So those need to be turned. And then this wheel cylinder on the driver's side looks dry. And I had shown you that evidence of something leaking out here. Well, it's the axle seal. So we've got a axle seal in here. You can kind of see the grease buildup on it that needs to be changed. And this one's showing the same kind of evidence. It's kind of pushed the grease out. So we would need to drain some of the fluid out of this pumpkin. We noticed that they've already done service work on this pumpkin because we can see that there's gray sealant around the diff. And this tag actually isn't in the spot that it's supposed to be in. It's got that extra hole. It's supposed to be bolted right here and right here vertical so that you can check the gear ratio and stuff. So if we want to go into that, we're not disturbing anything OEM because somebody's already been in there. But what it would mean is that we would need to slide these axles out and press the bearing off and do the seal and press the bearings back on. I've got all the stuff to do that stuff. If you want us to do shoes, we can do shoes. If you want us to do one side and not the other, normally, if to do this right, and if I was just going to do it my way, it would be 2 new wheel cylinders, all new shoes, turn the drums, and replace the axle seals, and the entire axle would be good and gone through and taken care of. But I know we got some variable stuff going on, and you got a budget, so I'm just trying to get in your head. Gas tank's a non-issue. We're going to take care of that today. He's got valve cover over here getting it cleaned up really well.
Valve cover's going to clean up really nice.
Yeah, it's going to look real good. So we're happy with that. There was actually not a gasket in underneath the valve cover. They had used the same kind of gray sealant. Normally we would use a Felpro gasket. The blue good rubberized silicone gaskets, but you have to modify. You have to modify the valve cover to get those gaskets to seal correctly, and I didn't want to modify this OEM valve cover, so we're going to go ahead and put a cork gasket back in there, and that's what the factory would have used, would have been a cork gasket. So anyway, that's where we are. I kind of stopped on the detail process because of how bad the hood looks. I mean, really the front clip is not in very good shape at this point. And then like I showed you before, this door's got some issues. So now we're talking about hood, front fenders, front doors, because I've got this on both sides. Quarter panel, and there's some chips up in here too that we didn't take care of. I showed you the stuff on the hatch that we were just going to try and touch up. We've got it here, we've got it there, we've got it there. So I hate being the bearer of bad news. These are the kind of projects where, you know, nobody really wins. I'm invested quite a bit into this just to get it to this point, and I've got other stuff that it's keeping me from touching, and now I got to tell you after all that this isn't going to work out. So anyway, I'm not sure what you want me to do here, Rob. I can apologize to the world, but it's just nature of the beast when we try to do some of these things. So you want to schedule it for full body and paint, we can do that. It's probably not going to be this year. It'll be into spring before I can get you in for full body and paint. Let me just finish up mechanical and call it a day and figure out, you know, how we can kind of square up. I'm not expecting you to, you know, pay me in full, but I do got some time and some materials into it if you want to take it as is. I don't know. There's as honest as I can be with you where the Cherokee's at right now. So you review this, think about it for a little bit. I'm gonna let Keith go on a mechanical. Tell me what you want me to do about this axle back here. Gas tank, that's no problem. Valve cover, that's no problem. I'll clean it out and wash it real good and whatever, and then beyond that, you just let me know where you want to go and what you want to see from here, dude. I appreciate you, and like I said, nobody wins on this thing, so I'm sorry, brother. Anyway, let me know. Hope you have a good end of the week, and hope work's going well. Take care, bud. I'll talk to you soon. Just wanted to do a final walk around video of the 87 Cherokee before it left. Me and the client didn't come to terms on the original estimate and the work that was getting done, so he's coming to pick it up and we're going to square up. But I just wanted to do a visual walk around of it in the condition that it left in. So we never did put fuel in it. It's still showing 36,507 miles. Over a half a tank of fuel. Interior's still in the same condition it was in when we got it. The client requested that we put the emblems. So that's the Fender emblem, hatch emblem, and the factory radio delete, radio antenna delete panel. Those are all right here. And storage area. Keys, both sets, the blue valet keys and the black keys for the Roner. They're still here. We had done some work on the 13,000 mile 98 XJ, and here's the floor mats, rear cargo mat, the light that was removed, the antenna that was removed, center console, shifter block off, mirror, four-wheel drive block off. Screws are in the bottom, the lid's right here. So that's all that. Factory spare is still there. That's all good. Everything we took off the vehicle was put back on. The hitch, bumper, the flares were taken loose. Those screws are put back in their factory locations. The grill's put back together. Headlights, taillights. And we gave it just a brief wash. It doesn't have a full detail on it. Of course, the color outside looks a lot better than it does inside under the lights, but it's just kind of the nature of the beast, trying to be honest. I think that covers everything. Everything else was as is, and I've got videos for the rest of it on file. I love to get it done, but sometimes we just don't agree.